Update. I, 25 male, refuse to forgive my family sisters 33 female, 31 female, and my parents 63 female and male 60 until they pay me back my inheritance they spent on themselves. Original post. I, 25 male, am the youngest of 3 siblings, 33 female and 31 female, and my parents, 63 female and 60 male, are owners of a grocery store that was passed down through my father's side of the family for generations. My grandparents on both my mom and dad's side left me and my siblings each a college trust fund of $100,000. Each of my sisters blew through their money and dropped out of college. Both of them became single mothers to my 3 nieces, 10 female, 8 female, and 7 female, and came back to work for my parents' store. I was the only kid who didn't work for my parents' business, as I got a job as a landscaper for the summer and after school throughout my entire high school years and saved up about $20,000. I got accepted into college on a partial scholarship, and I was beyond thrilled because I knew I had a great opportunity to leave college debt-free and own my own home by the time I was 22. Just as my sisters did when they turned 18, I asked my parents to turn over access to the trust and wanted to have the money under my control just like my sisters did. That's when my parents told me we would discuss this at dinner tonight. So, at dinner, my whole family were there, including my nieces. When it was time to talk about my trust, my dad and mom asked me if I would consider holding off on accessing the trust for 2 years, as they had to use some of the money to cover some of the healthcare and living costs of their grandkids, and also pay off a lawsuit that my sister Gloria received for a DUI. I asked how much they used, and my mom said there is currently $5,000 left in the account. So they spent $95,000 and none of it went to me. My dad said, "We just need you to think about your family and understand that we need your help in this request." I said it isn't great that everyone benefited from this money besides the person it was intended for. Gloria and Lori got to go to college and travel the world with their money, while with my money, I got to pay for all of their mistakes. My last words to my family were that this is not a request, as the decision was already made, and I moved out and left. I still went to college as I had a partial scholarship, and over the years I used the money I had in my savings to start my own landscaping business, which employs 6 guys, and we are doing great. I never got a chance to spend any of the money my grandparents left for me, as my parents never built back up the trust. 2 years ago, I found out from my lawyer when I sent in a formal request to access the trust that the current balance was $3,456.13, less than the $5,000 my parents told me about. My sisters and parents have tried to reconnect throughout the years, but I've always resent every gift, letter, and invitation they have sent me back to them. I'm getting married next month, and my fiancé wants to meet my family and help me close this chapter in my life. My fiancé wants me to forgive and move on, as I haven't spoken to them in years. But Reddit, am I in the wrong for telling my fiancé sorry, but I cannot move on from this? Now for the comments before reading the update. Tell your fiancé that you love what she's trying to do, but you were robbed of $100,000 and they ceased being worthy of the term family. When they come back with repayment plus interest, then reconciliation can begin. Why didn't you sue the trustees of the estate? You really should have. Tell your fiancé that you understand they think they're doing something good, but that you need them to respect your decisions regarding your family and understand that pushing you to reconcile is not what you want and not what you need. Also, that this is the only time you will discuss it with them, and warn them to never try to go behind your back to contact them and ambush you with them, because if you do, you will divorce and cut them off too. OP says, "Trust me, I have told my fiancé in very explicit language that if she ever decided to surprise or force a reunion with me and my family, that I would consider that an act of betrayal and that she would not be forgiven. Since she has seen how I do not even talk to my own family, she knows I'm completely serious. She has tried and currently is trying to get me to soften my stance, but I am not open to reconciliation with words at the moment. Once my trust fund is back funded where it was 8 years ago, then I will reconcile with words. Right now, actions do all the talking for me." This person says she has tried and currently is trying to get me to soften my stance. Tell her something like, "I need you to stop pushing regarding my family. I don't want them in my life, period. You can either respect that and never bring it up again, or you can keep pushing and we can put wedding planning on hold until we've gotten a relationship counseling to address your unwillingness to respect my choices. Has your fiance ever been in a situation where her family stole $100,000 from her? If not, you need to tell her that she has no standing to talk here. I would be very hesitant to enter into a legal and financial partnership with a person who is willing to blow this off for the sake of family unity. If you have to be the doormat to get the family back together, it's not worth it. It's also not great to get into such an intimate relationship with someone who does not care that you've been stolen from. Now for the update. So much has happened that I think the best way to do this is to put this in key points and answer in the comments. Thank you to everyone who sent me direct messages and wrote to me in the comments. The thread was locked for 4 hours after it being posted, so it blew up fast, and I know everybody did not get a chance to comment last time. As a result, my inbox was flooded, so I wanted to give the best update I could because so many of you took interest in my story. Original post: what has happened since? Fiancee admitted to speaking with my family on Facebook Messenger, and they also spoke in person when she said that they met each other in a restaurant. Happened a month ago. Fiancee said it was very emotional. I told my fiancee I was extremely disappointed that she withheld this information from me for a month. Fiancee told me she felt guilty and afraid to tell me because she thought I might break up with her and cancel the wedding if I found out. She wanted to wait until after the wedding to tell me. However, yesterday my mom called her directly begging her to help me reunite our family. She missed so much of my life and she doesn't want to miss another milestone, wedding. Fiancé knows she has violated my trust and gave me the most heart-melting, sincere apology I ever heard in my life and asked for forgiveness. She even had her parents ask me to forgive her and to not cancel the wedding. Her dad and mom told me they loved me and hope I could move past this. Her dad loves me. He literally has a picture of me in his office. Just me and him, LOL. Introduces me as a son for the past 2 years. He cried and said he doesn't want to lose me as a son. I forgave my fiancé and sisters came to my business with my nieces and desperately wanted to talk. Sisters deeply regret their part in the decisions that were made on their behalf and wanted to be a family again. They understand my position and anger, but they miss me and want me back in their lives. My nieces also asked why I don't come around anymore and am I mad at them? Sisters explained that this has destroyed our parents' marriage as it has now come out that my mom apparently spent the majority of the money without my dad knowing. And then when he found out, my mom wanted dad to say it was both of their decisions because she believes if it came out that it was her that decided by herself and not my dad, that I would never forgive her no matter what and would disown her because I always accused her of playing favorites. To be honest, she is right. I have disowned her. My mom pleaded with my dad to cover for her decision to empty my fund. My dad was furious but decided that he and my mom decided to spend the money. Dad now resents our mom because he no longer has a relationship with his only son. He also hears from his friends how great of a relationship me and my father-in-law have. I call my father-in-law Dad, he calls me his son. Dad told my mother either she fixes this or he is done with her and he is telling me the truth. I told my sisters that I love them and my nieces and I do not hate them. However, they helped rob me of a very important gift that our grandparents gave each of us, and I missed out on a life experience that they got to experience and I did not. It is like they stole my last gift that our grandparents left for me. We all cried and I accepted their apology, but I told them that I do not know how to let go of this resentment I feel towards them. I let them know our relationship will take time to rebuild. I asked them to set up a meeting with just me and Dad and not my mom. I met with my dad alone. My dad was shocked that I requested the meeting. He looked defeated and asked to speak first. My dad told me he is and has been depressed for the last few years and feels like he truly failed me as a father. And he knows he betrayed me, and as a father, he must take that to his grave that he is the reason his son hates him. He said he is extremely jealous of the relationship that I have with my father-in-law, and he just started crying for like 3 minutes straight. I told him I know it was Mom who decided to spend the money. I told him I understand why he didn't throw Mom under the bus, but he deeply hurt me by covering for Mom's decision this long. I told him I love him and said he doesn't owe me anything anymore. He is done owing Mom's debt. We both cried and hugged for like 5 minutes. I invited him, my sisters, and my nieces over for dinner at my place that night without Mom. I let my sisters and my dad know that if they came to dinner with my mom, with them, that this would be the last time that we ever speak. My mom clearly found out about the reunion without her and wanted to speak. I refused her request and told her, please, bring a check for $100,000 if you want to talk to me. My wedding is on the 3rd of September, and I have since invited everyone but my mom. My sisters want me to hear Mom's side of the story, and my dad said that he is done covering for my mom's decision. My fiancée is happy and supports my decision 100%, even though I know she wants me to meet with my mother. She just needs to forgive herself, so she doesn't want to push Reddit should I meet with my mom before or after she hands me the check for $100,000. Even though there has not been another update in over 2 years, the last post ended with a question and the final decision by OOP regarding his mother is still missing. Therefore, this post has been flared as inconclusive. Story 2. Update. My boyfriend said he wishes he was with my sister. Original post. I, 23 female, have been with my boyfriend, 26 male, for about 4 years. I met him through my sister, 27 female, who's been his best friend since freshman year. She's a lesbian and getting married to her girlfriend in October. Me and her have always been close. The usual sibling stuff. Sometimes we fought, but it's always resolved because she's my best friend. Our parents have always been supportive of both of us, and when she came out, our parents basically said, oh yeah, we know. When can we meet her? I've always had some issues with guys getting close to me for my sister because she's prettier and more outgoing between us, but she has always helped me build up my confidence and made jokes about me becoming lesbian to avoid the awkward guys. My boyfriend always flattered me, told me how I'm his one and only, how he can't wait to start a family with me, all that stuff. He was my first kiss, the one I lost my virginity to, all the cliche Hallmark movie stuff. Well, last night, after we had finished having sex, he randomly said, you know, sometimes I pretend when we're effing that I'm with your sister. He saw the way that I looked at him, and I guess, and immediately backpedaled saying, a few years ago, not anymore. I don't know why I said that, I'm sorry. And kept apologizing and trying to make what he said less bad, I guess. I asked him straight up if he was cheating on me with my sister, and he denied it, saying that he was just high off the sex and didn't know why he said that because it wasn't true. I'm currently at my sister and her girlfriend's apartment, sobbing my eyes out because I don't know what I did wrong. I thought I had finally found a guy who liked me, not my sister, but I was wrong. I feel like I've thrown out years of my life for him for absolutely nothing. He's been blowing up my phone, and at first it was, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it. Come back, babe. But now he's saying stuff like, I knew you were the crazy one. You can't take a joke. I feel like I don't even know my boyfriend anymore. Now for the update. Well, I met up with my boyfriend at our apartment a day after my first post, along with my sister and her girlfriend, who I'll be calling Mel. He immediately asked me why we were having an intervention and interrupting his game night. I asked him to turn the computer off and come to the living room, and then minutes later he did after finishing a Fortnite match. I asked him if what he said he actually meant, and he asked my sister and her girlfriend to leave, so they went into the kitchen. He said he didn't really mean it, and he already forgot it happened, even though I haven't been home in 4 days. I told him to pack his shit and leave, and he refused, and got up to do who knows what. My sister and Mel came in and told him to go. He again refused, saying it was his house. I asked where his name was on the rent, and he said it didn't matter because he lives there. So I took the initiative, for once in my life, yay me, and went into her room, pulled out a duffel bag, and started packing for him. My ex started following me, getting panicked and saying he would pack, but to just leave the room so that he could. Well, I didn't trust him with my stuff, as I have a lot of antique jewelry and stuff. I'm a thrifty gal, what can I say? Which I definitely didn't want him to take. In the bottom of the duffel bag was several condom wrappers and unopened ones. No, we never put our condom trash into a duffel bag after sex. No, didn't loan it to a friend. Whatever could have happened? You may be wondering, grasping your phone in anticipation. The answer? He's a cheating POS. He saw I found it and claimed he was sleeping with my sister, my lesbian sister. That sister. Mel, me, and my sister told him to cut the BS, and he had 5 minutes to pack before we called the cops. And my sister, the lesbian, said if anything was missing, we would file a report. After he left to who knows where, me and the girls had a cry fest. Okay, just me. And my sister kept telling me she would never sleep with anyone I was with, male or not, which I obviously believe. He's been blowing up my phone, my sister's phone, Mel's phone, I don't know how he got it, with him saying he's homeless and he wants me back or wants my sister, and calling Mel an effing sinner whore. He's been blocked and hopefully out of our lives for good. Thank you guys for giving me the support and strength to leave him. It means a lot that strangers I have never met would care. Stay safe, everyone. Story 3. My husband and I were sexually assaulted by another couple. Now that this case is finally over, I want to share it. This happened a year ago, but before I start, I want to mention that my husband is okay with our story being shared. We are in therapy and we came to terms with what happened, realizing we can't change it regardless of how messed up it is, and nearly destroyed our relationship. By the way, English isn't my native language, so I apologize if I messed something up. So about a year ago, me, 29 female, my husband, 31 male, were invited by this couple. The man was a colleague of my husband, and they have invited us over for dinner. We always thought that it would be a nice thing to be friends with another couple, so we agreed. When we got there, I noticed that him and his wife were kind of acting weird. They were nice, but almost too nice, if you understand, and they were constantly insisting that we drink some alcohol. I told my husband that he could drink, but I won't because someone has to drive us home. The two looked at each other and said that it's not a problem and that they would bring me a soft drink. I agreed, and we talked to each other for a few hours. When our drinks were empty, they offered us more, and at some point, I thought I was just paranoid and that they were really nice, but then when we drank, the last drink, we both realized that something was off. I looked at him and my vision started to get blurry and I felt dizzy. I could tell from his face he felt the same thing. The two looked at us smiling somehow weirdly, and then everything went black. I didn't remember much. I just woke up a few seconds to the other couple's husband being on top of me naked, and I saw my husband laying next to me with the wife on top of him. He didn't move a muscle, and then I lost consciousness again. I was woken up by my husband, who told me to get out of here. We laid between them, and they were naked and they slept. Our clothes lay next to the bed. We quickly grabbed them and silently left the place. I still felt dizzy. Until then, we were still so messed up that we didn't actually realize what had just happened. We just wanted to get out of there. Only when we sat in the car, we slowly started to understand. We couldn't look at each other, and the ride home was awkward. When we got home, we talked about it and decided to press charges for sexual assault. The absurd thing is that they actually sent us photos of this afterwards. They thought that we were okay with it and sent us photos of them and us together and how much fun last night was. We didn't reply to that and just saved it for proof. Thanks to their own stupidity, we won the case. Of course, with this proof, there was no denying it even though they tried. However, this occurrence messed up our relationship pretty bad. It was hard for the both of us to enjoy intercourse, and we felt more and more distant towards each other. Only with couples therapy, we managed to save our relationship, and I would say that we were kind of back to our former selves. But it wasn't easy. I just wanted to share this because I felt that this subreddit might be a good place for us to raise awareness. I wish I could have shared this sooner, but our lawyer recommended us to not make any statements they could use against us. However, this is it. Thanks for the attention, and please be careful. Do not take drinks from someone you don't trust. Now for the comments. How the heck would they think drugging two people and effing them would it all be consensual and a good time for both parties? Then to take photos and send it to you. What in the actual F reasoning did they give that they thought that this was even remotely okay? Straight to jail. I'm so sorry to hear that happened to the two of you. So glad that you got some justice in some way and you're both getting back to somewhat normal. Absolutely, obviously, these creeps had done this shit to others, and were comfortable assaulting a coworker and his wife. OP should have swabbed everything for DNA and filed a report with the authorities or have a kit done at the hospital. The residual drugs could have been used as evidence. If there were any STDs contracted, more evidence. If the male or couple has a record or is a sex offender, the employer could have been at fault. I'm saying could and should as hypotheticals because those are things that we logically think about. Thankfully, OP got out when they could and did what it took to advocate for themselves and to make those a-holes pay. This occurrence messed up our relationship pretty bad. It was hard for the both of us to enjoy intercourse and we felt more and more distant towards each other. Only the couples therapy managed to save our relationship, and I would say we are kind of back to our former selves. I'm so glad to hear that you and your husband are working through your difficulties. It would totally be understandable, and obviously no one's fault but the bad couple. But avoidance is a copying mechanism, and I'm glad that it didn't take that long and you're working through it. SA takes a lot from people. Glad you have each other. I hope you can put this behind you and you can go forward together stronger, but mostly feel safe with each other. Take care. That's all for today. If you're enjoying this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you.